It's Friday, which means we get another episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian on Disney+. Now let's talk about it. How's everybody? So as I said, Season 2, Episode 2 of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus is upon us. Really love talking about this show with you guys. Thank you as always for checking out these when I drop them, because I'm up super late at night talking about this show with you guys. Of course, we had that awesome first episode last week that I'm not going to touch upon too much here, just because I have a whole video talking about my thoughts on the episode. It was really great. We had some revelations. Obviously, Mando and the child are still on their journey, trying to find Mandalorians to actually guide them to the child's original homeworld. And of course, the revelation that Boba Fett is actually alive. So those are like two of the big takeaways from first episode. Now let's dive into the thoughts about episode 2 of this season. Actually quite a short episode. It was only 40 minutes long. I know that a lot of the episodes this season are going to vary in length to an hour, about 40 minutes or so. This is definitely a short one. This is definitely the episode what I would like to call the child's very cute episode, because there's so many moments in this episode where the child is just absolutely adorable. Peyton Reed actually directed this episode, and I think for the most part it was fine. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of Peyton Reed properties. You know, Ant-Man and Ant-Man the Wasp from the MCU films, he directed those, and I think both of those are just fine. I mean, it's not bad, not horrible. It was fine. It's Peyton Reed. See the drop-off between Jon Favreau's directing and Peyton Reed's directing right off the bat, because this episode kicks off right where the last one ended, with Mando on the speeder bike, and he actually gets caught by these people trying to steal the child, which I kind of figured was going to be kind of one of those things along the way as we go on this journey, that people are going to actually still try and capture the child because he's so valuable. And it happens. Of course, Mando has an epic action scene once again. I'm glad that like both these episodes so far have kicked off with these really awesome action set pieces, but sadly, the child cannot really defend himself too well, and he gets caught, held hostage, but Mando at least is smart enough to give up his jetpack in exchange for the child, which I was kind of upset at for a little bit, just because I thought, oh no, he just got that jetpack at the end of last season, and he's already given it up. Fortunately, he has a little button there, and the moment he walks away with that jetpack, dude flies up into the air, and I'm guessing he dies, because we don't see him move. After that, I assume he's dead. Pretty solid opening before we get to the bulk of the episode's storyline, which is, for the most part, an escort mission like you'd see in any sort of video game. If you've played video games, you know exactly what escort missions kind of are and what they entail. This frog creature has info where these Mandalorians are. It's a win-win, because Mando has to get her to point B, and if you do, she'll give you the info. It's almost like a side quest, I guess you could say. But, you know, it almost feels like a filler episode, but we're going to get to the main storyline eventually. By the end of the episode, I actually found myself feeling awful for this frog woman, just because she gets really put through the ringer throughout this episode. And it starts right off the bat once they get onto the Razor Crest, just because the child is so entranced with this woman's eggs, which is like the main precious cargo that they really have to transport with her. He wants to eat them, and he does several times throughout the episode. Even though Mando clearly tells him not to, he still does it anyway, and he looks absolutely adorable doing it. I can't knock them from making this a very adorable child episode, but there's a lot of moments in this episode where he's just too damn cute. I can't deny it. I can't deny it at all. I really like that we got some X-Wing action in this, because it's been a while since we got some really good X-Wing action. It's not like too much of it, just between them and the Razor Crest. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the pilots of the X-Wings was actually Dave Filoni, another one of his cameos he's thrown himself into. Doesn't really get too much screen time, but I recognize Dave Filoni. I'm pretty sure that's him. That poor Razor Crest ship, though, it always is going through hell throughout these seasons. It has to get probably repaired once again by all the damage that it gets when it crashes this time, between it crashing and then it going through the ice. We're stranded in this ice cave, and I also thought it was a fun little Easter egg kind of nod to the first season, where Q9O from those bounty hunters that betrayed Mando last season, the frog actually uses the spare parts that are on the wall of him to talk to Mando, since Mando can't speak frog. The scene following that was so adorable, with Mando and the child cuddling up to each other. It was probably one of the more cute scenes. And then, of course, she wanders off when they're asleep. And as Mando's wandering off in this cave looking for her, the child is off, and he eats these eggs off the ground, and they're like these weird, almost xenomorph facehugger kind of pods. It almost felt like a nod to Alien, just because of how they were shaped. They had like these little spider thing inside of it. And of course, bad news, because there's a bunch of little itty bitty spider creature little things in those eggs. And there's a giant one. There's always a giant mother, adult, father kind of object in these. And it's huge. It's scary. and they're just racing away from it for the most of the rest of the episode. They're very scary looking, especially if you don't like spiders. If you ever wanted some sort of alien Star Wars crossover, this is probably the closest you're going to get to it. You've got the little spiders infesting the inside of the Razor Crest, and as they're trying to take off, the giant spider lands on top of the Razor Crest, and you think all hope is lost, and then blasters come out of nowhere and take out the spider on the front of the ship, and takes out some of the ones on the stragglers on the sides. It's a little bit cliche, but it's the X-Wing pilots that come to save the day, and Mando and them have their little standoff because you think that they're going to take them back, and the X-Wing pilots, they kind of just call it even and they just fly away just because Mando's done some good in the past. Very cliche ending, but, you know, it is what it is. It was kind of a very fillery kind of cliche episode to begin with. But I still had fun with it. It's just definitely a filler kind of episode, more so than the first one. I think the first one had much more of a fun overall plot, much more actually getting the actual episode storyline going. This one kind of just felt like a more of a side piece. We're on episode 3 next week. I'm curious to see what the future holds. All I know is the child keeps eating this frog woman's eggs, so they may not have much precious cargo to actually get to the next destination if he keeps eating them. But we'll see. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of Season 2, Episode 2 of The Mandalorian? It's on Disney Plus right now for you to check out. Leave all your comments in the comment section down below. I like to talk about all things movies and TV on the channel, so I'd love to have a discussion with you guys about this episode, whether you liked it or not. But thank you as always for checking my videos. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like, hit the subscribe button. We'll keep making reviews, show reactions, unboxings, and more on the channel. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.